I mentioned this today with you. If you want to know what Democrats are doing, just listen to what they're saying about Republicans, because it's this weird, like gaslighting that they
Gaslighting,
do.
yeah. It's a weird gaslight.
It is. It's fucking wild. All right, welcome to another episode of Intellectual Dummies. It is Halloween, and we got a lot to get to today. I'm not even sure I forget what we're doing today, but I'm your host, Luke. This is my co-host, Paul.
What up?
And before we get into it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. So, Paul, what do we have today? I know you said we got a long episode today.
Yeah,
So.
Luke, we got a lot to get into today. A lot happened in politics this week. The first thing we're going to start with is the full briefing. GOP senators reveal findings in the Arctic frost probe.
Oh, wow.
And what they found is, like I told you before, that the Biden administration, they use the government to spy on Republicans.
Oh, yeah. Lindsey Graham talked about that in our last episode, I believe.
Yes,
At
he
that
did. Yes.
congressional hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, they all found out that day that it happened. And now this is the press conference like telling us the information that has come forward.
That's wild. Okay.
So here we go, motherfucker.
Ooh, dusty old white guys. Wow.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
A little bit of history before I get to what we're releasing today.
7 million
I
years
started
ago.
the investigation into Arctic frost July 2022 based on whistleblower disclosures. Based on these disclosures, we know that weaponized taxpayer-funded agents and prosecutors advanced the investigation. As Arctic frost advanced, 92 Republican organizations or individuals were targeted, not just Trump. And they were added to its scope. And author of that targeting list was Special Agent Washington.
Yeah.
I don't mean to make fun, but this guy, like, he hosts so many hearings, and he's just the wrong person to do it. He's too old, too dusty, and too fucking slow.
Yeah. His voice, too.
Yeah, and like he's fighting for a good cause, but it's like, man, you are so past your prime, sir.
Yeah.
Walter Giardino.
Sounds like a cartoon character.
He's the same.
Yes, he sounds like a character of an old politician.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Same weaponized agent who was involved in other cases against Republicans, including Peter Navarro. We've learned Jack Smith secretly obtained phone record data from at least 8 senators and 1 congressman. I've recently been informed by Verizon that at least 11 members with Verizon accounts were affected. That includes a hard line for Senator Cruz's office and a staffer cell phone for former Senator Loeffler. AT&T informed me they challenged the legal basis for Jack Smith's efforts, and Smith backed down. So today, we're making public new records that I've obtained.
So AT&T was resistant and Verizon cooperated.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Damn, that's too bad. Well, I'm glad I got AT&T.
I have Verizon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Damn.
Through legally protected whistleblower disclosures. 197 subpoenas were issued by Jack Smith and his team. These subpoenas were issued to 34 individuals and 163 businesses, including financial institutions. And one of the points of contact on many of these subpoenas was that person I previously named Special Agent Walter Giardino. The subpoena requested records and communications related to over 430 individual and organizations. All of them appear to be aimed at Republicans. A subpoena to Event Strategies requested records relating to Turning Point USA and the Republican Attorney General's Association.
that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Donald Trump said it in his first term with Obama. Obama tapped my phones. And I mean, this is another example among many other examples of Republicans saying something years ago and fast forward, they're right. Democrats weaponizing right now corporations against their political enemies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy the deep infrastructure that Democrats have created over these last couple of decades with the weaponization of the DOJ against Trump, all the judges against Trump, and now Verizon and other tech companies, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. I mean, it's wild what they've done.
What's wild is that the Democrats are the ones screaming Trump is trying to weaponize the government when they weaponize the government.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned this today with you. If you want to know what Democrats are doing, just listen to what they're saying about Republicans, because it's this weird, like, gaslighting.
Gaslighting, yeah. It's a weird gaslight.
It is. It's fucking wild.
All right, let's keep going.
One subpoena to Apple sought records
Just so you know, it's not this guy reading the entire time.
relating to Trump and the January 6th prison choir. Earlier this year, I obtained emails between and among J.P. Cooney, one of Jack Smith's prosecutors. That email exchange was March 2023 about a partisan news article on January 6th, and this is what Cooney said in the email. Can we do some work to nail down Trump's role in this, perhaps with the same process on Ed Henry's LLC, end quote.
Messed up.
Just the next month, April 2023, Jack Smith and his team subpoenaed Apple for records relating to the very issue. A subpoena to an individual sought records and communications with, quote, any member, employee, or agent of the legislative branch of government, end of quote. Another subpoena to an individual sought records relating to communications with media companies such as CBS, Fox News, Fox Business, Newsmax, Sinclair, and others. Other subpoenas to a bank, individual, and businesses sought records relating to White House advisors Stephen Miller, Dan Scavino, Jared Kushner, and Lara Trump. Some subpoenas to individuals and businesses sought statistical data and analysis relating to donors and fundraising efforts. Arctic Frost was the vehicle by which FBI agents and DOJ prosecutors could improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. Contrary to what Smith has said publicly, this was clearly a fishing expedition. If this had happened to Democrats, they'd be as rightly outraged as we are outraged. We're making these records public in the interest of transparency and so that the American people can draw their own conclusions. Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. I want to thank the chairman. I want to thank his staff for their tenacity and their cooperation in all of our joint investigations. I think it's important to note that the records that we are now making public and for personal transparency were not obtained
I'm just looking at
from the
these
agency.
fucking old fucking whiteheads. You know, I don't know why it's so funny to me.
What,
But
the old white people?
Yeah, just these old white people.
Yeah, I mean, career politicians, right?
Yeah.
They were obtained through a whistleblower. So my first point is we need more whistleblowers. We need people, men and women inside these agencies who have integrity, who want to see the integrity and credibility of the Department of Justice, of the FBI restored, come forward. Because right now I think Kash Patel, Pam Bondi are overwhelmed by all the messes they're trying to clean up. The agencies have been, lost a lot of personnel. People simply couldn't serve the Trump administration. It's hard to hire people because of all the lawfare. And there's still partisan actors burrowed in trying to sabotage their efforts. So we need whistleblowers. The reason they come forward to Chairman Grassley is because he's been such a champion of whistleblowers. So again, I thank him for that. What is revealed in those 1,700 pages of documents, in those 197 subpoenas, is nothing short of a Biden administration enemies list. I'm old enough to understand how toxic a term that was under Richard Nixon. This is far worse, orders of magnitude worse.
Yeah,
People need to understand how politicized.
What's that?
I said, yeah, no shit. I mean, what is he comparing this to Watergate right now?
Oh yeah, they compare this to Watergate a couple times throughout this
Yeah,
press
I mean,
conference.
Watergate, it seems like it's just something that they just do like every Tuesday now.
Yeah, Watergate doesn't seem like that big of a deal anymore.
The Biden administration turned all these agencies. And again, the best way to describe President Biden's attitude were his exact quotes. How he thought basically half America were domestic terrorists. In September 2022, in front of Independence Hall, he said, Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundation of our republic. A year later in New York City, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Now, nothing could be further from the truth. That is a level of paranoia that's actually astonishing. But the fact that 38 Wisconsinites are on that enemies list, I know most of those individuals. They are God-fearing, country-loving, law enforcement supporting people who want to see America succeed. The fact that they are on a Biden administration enemies list, were targeted by that administration, is outrageous. It should shock every American. And so I am calling on, and I appreciate all the members of the Judiciary Committee, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to do everything we can to assist Director Patel and AG Bondi in making sure that they have the staff to take control over these agencies. They're the heads of them. I don't think they have the control. I think they're being sabotaged within. But the American people need to understand exactly what happened. And again, I'm calling on members of the Judiciary Committee to help Senator Grassley and myself get to the bottom of this so we can expose this, so this doesn't happen again in America. This has to end. With that, I'll turn it over to Senator Cornyn.
They let the slowest guy get the most time.
I know, right?
I want to thank Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson for their perseverance in this investigation. This is the United States of America.
Yeah,
It's
no
not a
shit.
banana republic. It's not a country that condones partisan lawfare against your political opponents. We don't have the time to go through all of the many ways that the Democratic Party and President Trump's opponents tried to target him and tried to destroy him, including people like James Comey, who single-handedly wanted to get a special counsel appointed, where a 2-year investigation followed with no result, no evidence of any legal violation.
Comey, who also posted 8647 on his Instagram too.
Yeah,
Don't forget.
Here,
But I
keep it-
can't
keep it
think of
paused
any-
for one quick sec here. 1 second.
All right, what's up? Oh, Luke just disappeared on me. That's okay because we don't have anybody watching anyway. So we can afford this kind of stuff. But someday when we get popular, it's not going to be acceptable. Not going to lie. Let's see, maybe I'll play some music. What kind of music am I going to play though? Maybe in my playlist 9.
Proceed.
Oh, what happened?
No, I wanted to grab a drink, and my tenant wanted me to grab his rent money.
Oh, there you go. That'll do it.
Greater evidence of weaponization and the fact, as you heard from Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson, this extended far beyond President Trump and extended to President Trump's supporters, not only here in the United States Senate, but more broadly. Jack Smith did not act alone. Yes, he was a special counsel. He was appointed by Merrick Garland, and he had responsibilities to report to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, Joe Biden's Attorney General, under the rules regarding special counsel. Merrick Garland was a member of Joe Biden's cabinet. He was willing to do whatever Joe Biden and his political operation wanted him to do, including destroying President Trump, including abusing our justice system for partisan purposes. And here, to me, is the most troublesome part of all this. If they would do that to the President of the United States, if they would do this to United States senators and members of Congress, what would they do to you? People who don't enjoy the bully pulpit or the platform that elected representatives have. This ought to be a chilling message to each and every American who loves this great country and believes in our constitutional system and equal justice under the law. Thank goodness for Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson for their investigation, but we will get to the bottom of this. Senator Cruz.
And nothing will happen.
I mean, they do say in this that they are calling the CEO of Verizon to Congress to answer questions.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully something comes about it, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like a lot of this shit is just it's just all bullshit, you know? Like nothing ever happens. Nobody ever ends up going to jail.
Yeah, but this could be different now with a total Republican-run
Yeah.
Congress.
I hope.
You
I
know?
certainly hope.
Because let's face it, we wouldn't be finding this shit out if it wasn't for the Republicans running the government right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we got a new regime. It's not the traditional globalists,
Yeah.
warmongers, whatever you want to call them. It's fresh blood, kind of.
Arctic frost is Joe Biden's Watergate. Merrick Garland was a fundamentally
Ted Cruz always with the theatrics.
The fucking
corrupt
Wolverine.
attorney general.
Yeah.
Jack Smith was a fundamentally corrupt prosecutor. This was a political enemies list from the beginning. 197 subpoenas for 430 Republican entities and individuals. That is an absolute and egregious abuse of power. The Biden Justice Department signed off on issuing subpoenas for the phone records of at least 9 U.S. senators. 20% of the Republicans in the United States Senate were the target of this fishing expedition. They did so in complete contravention of the Constitution, of separation of powers, of the speech and debate clause, of free speech, of basic rights of privacy. This is an executive who believes it is justified spying on their opponents in the legislature because they convince themselves the ends justify the means. I want to talk to you about one of those subpoenas. One of those subpoenas went from Jack Smith to AT&T, seeking my cell phone communications. It went to AT&T, and I actually want to commend AT&T for doing the right thing. AT&T is based in Texas. AT&T looked at that subpoena, and they went to their legal counsel, and they said, what should we do with that subpoena? And their legal counsel said, you cannot comply because this is protected by the speech and debate clause of the U.S. Constitution. And so AT&T declined to comply, did not hand over my cell phone.
Yo, AT&T, if I was their marketing person, I'm like, we're going to take this and fucking run with it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Every commercial is going to be like AT&T, the Patriots network for the taxpayer. We'll never let the, we'll never let the government spy on you. Like all this shit.
Yeah, AT&T
Yeah.
won't let the government spy on you.
Yeah, I'd have like fucking commercials with the Verizon. Like I'd make it look like the communist China flag. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
Yeah.
Verizon.
The hammer and
dude.
sickle.
Dude, you'd be dumb not to take that and run with it. Like
I
that.
know.
That's like, hey, look at we want our customers to trust us, and we establish this, relationship and blah blah blah. It'd be perfect.
Phone records. Now, one might ask, ordinarily, a phone company being asked to hand over the phone records of a sitting senator would notify that senator. Well, there was a reason AT&T did not do so. Accompanying the subpoena
Oh, man.
was an order, which I have in my hand right here.
The Chick-fil-A order.
Yeah, that had sections blacked out, but okay.
An order that was signed by Judge James E. Boasberg. Now, who is Boasberg? Boasberg is that radical leftist judge who is out of control, who has been issuing nationwide injunctions, one after the other, trying to stop President Trump from carrying out his mandate from the voters.
What a fucking coincidence, dude. The same judge that issued the subpoena to fucking AT&T is also the same judge that's fucking fighting Trump on the deportations.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was funded by George Soros.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Judge Boasberg issued an order to the US, to AT&T and signed that order prohibiting AT&T from informing me of this subpoena for at least 1 year. And Judge Boasberg gave the basis for that order, and I'm going to quote from the order Judge Boasberg signed. The court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in destruction of or tampering with evidence, intimidation of potential witnesses, and serious jeopardy to the investigation. That's an order a judge signed. Now, I can tell you right now, there is precisely zero evidence to conclude that I am likely to destroy or tamper with evidence or to intimidate potential witnesses. Zero evidentiary basis for that. This order is an abuse of power. This order is a weaponized legal system. My assumption, we don't have the subpoenas that were issued for the other senators, but my assumption is Judge Boasberg printed these things out like the placemats at Denny's, one after the other. We don't know that for a fact, but I feel confident that he concluded it's likely that Lindsey Graham would destroy evidence, and Marsha Blackburn would destroy evidence, and Eric Schmidt would destroy evidence, and Chuck Grassley would destroy evidence.
He's like, I'm having the time of my life over here.
Yeah, he's like, someone said my name.
He's like, I've been waiting for this my whole career.
If a litigant makes a claim for which there is no factual basis, that litigant is subject to sanctions in federal court. And if a judge signs an order reaching a factual conclusion for which there is zero evidence whatsoever, that judge is abusing his power. I am right now calling on the House of Representatives to impeach Judge Boasberg. Judge Boasberg put his robe down, stood up and said, sign me up to be part of the partisan vendetta against 20% of the Republicans in the Senate. That is a dereliction of duty and a violation of the judicial oath. And I want to thank Chairman Grassley and Chairman Johnson for pursuing this tenaciously like a dog on a bone. We are going to get the answers of every person who signed off on this abuse of power, and mark my words, there will be accountability for these zealots who wanted to corrupt the Department of Justice and corrupt the judiciary in order to try to attack their enemies list. That is unconstitutional, it is immoral, and it is wrong. Senator Kennedy.
I'm next. Well, I'm one of those senators that did have their records revealed. Verizon is my wireless carrier, and Verizon never challenged, never moved to quash. They complied with the subpoena that went forward on our records. Now, Ted talked about the speech and debate clause. This is also a violation of our First Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights. It is a violation of the separation of powers. It is a violation of the Stored Communications Act. I am looking forward to bringing Jack Smith before us. I am looking forward to bringing the wireless companies before us and finding out exactly what happened. No citizen of the United States should ever be subject to treatment like this. And as Senator Cornyn said, if they are doing this to us, what did they do to all the moms and dads that went to school board meetings? What did they do to the pro-lifers that stood on a sidewalk and held a sign? What did they do to people that were supporting President Donald Trump or people that were supporting Republican candidates? Jack Smith moved forward after Christopher Wray wrote a memo on April 4th of 22. And you all should read the memo. It is how to write, it's going to be textbook for how to write a fishing expedition memo. Nebulous, vague language, alleging, assuming, things that should never be done. And then Lisa Monaco puts her mark on it, encouraging Merrick Garland to sign it so that they could put Jack Smith in as a special counsel. Thank goodness Kash Patel has fired every single person that was in that CR-15 unit, every single one of them. But we need to have hearings. We have encouraged the DOJ to refer Jack Smith to the Office of Professional Conduct. And they need to work with us to provide the documents so we can have a more fulsome picture about what has transpired with this.
What was that?
Was that applause?
No, what was that noise? Do that again. Yeah, it sounds like the wah wah wah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on.
No, that's a drum beat. That's nothing. Nah, okay, you had a couple, but then there's nothing now anymore.
Oh,
You're
so I
just like
thought that was the applause.
you're like so thrilled with yourself. With the look on your face, that was hilarious.
It is worse than Watergate. It is deep, it is wide, and we are just beginning to scratch the surface. Okay, and Schmidt.
Well, Lindsay, go ahead.
Lindsay.
No, go ahead.
We'll do it by height. That'll go.
You're on the short end of that one.
Yeah.
Well, that
I'm
was
closer
funny.
to the earth. So here's what I'm thinking about.
Here's what I'm thinking: we can't let Putin get his dirty paws on them precious minerals.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about every time I look at this fucking guy.
If Trump had not run in 2024, would any of this happened?
That's right.
So what I want to explain to the people of the country is that within several days of him announcing, I'm going to seek the White House again, an avalanche began to form. And I really do believe that none of this would have been happening if Trump had set out the 2024 cycle. But once he announced, I'll have my own chart one day, we'll show you what happened and when it happened. Within about 8 months of announcing, he had 91 felony charges against him in Georgia and New York.
Dude, that's wild when you think about it. Within 8 months of announcing he's gonna run again, he had 91 felony charges pressed
Yeah, I
against him.
know.
That's
And that's
fucking
sexual.
nuts.
Yeah, a rape charge included.
Yeah.
You know.
York and other places. So here's what I think, that when he said he wanted to have a political comeback, it triggered the Democratic machine to destroy him before he could ever get started. And in their effort to destroy him, there were no boundaries. The goal was to stop Trump and to look at anything and everything that could stop Trump and ignore the Constitution and a lot of other things. I was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in January 2021. I don't know about you, but I'm offended that somebody in 2023 would subpoena my phone records to find out where I was at when I called somebody and who I called and where they were at. It's none of their damn business. I have a constitutional duty, like the rest of us here, as chairman of the committee regarding the 2020 election. I don't think the 2020 election bothered anybody until Trump decided to run in 2024, legally. So what I want to do is pursue what happened system-wide. Was there contact between Jack Smith and Fani Willis? I got caught up in that crap. I'd spent over $1 million. Now she's been kicked off the case. Was there a coordination between Jack Smith, Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James? Did they talk? Did they share information? Is it just an accident that all this happened within days of Trump announcing, and within 8 or 9 months, the Republican candidate, one of the candidates for president, had 91 felony charges in the deepest blue districts in the friggin' country? You think that happened by accident?
No.
I don't think so. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I want to know, was there any coordination between Fani Willis and New York by Jack Smith? We're going to get every piece of paper we can get. And I want Jack Smith to come forward, but I want the information first. He's not coming and testify when we're in the dark to the Justice Department. Please expedite the requests made by Senator Grassley and Johnson to give us any information that may exist between Jack Smith and Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, and Letitia James. I want to know, did they talk? If they talked, what did they talk about, and when did they talk? As to me, I want to know why Verizon did the opposite of AT&T. I want to know what they asked for and how deep and how wide it went. And I want to know if there's an order signed by a federal judge basically slandering me.
That's a good point. What if like Verizon was able to like do some type of bribe? They're like, all right, we'll do this, but we don't want to pay a corporate tax for the next fucking 20
Yeah, I'm
years.
sure there was some type of favor exchanged in some way, shape, or form, whether it be like, I don't know,
Taxes, right? Maybe like
some
corporate
type of-
tax.
yeah, taxes or a regulation being lifted, or maybe just, hey, listen, man, fucking $1 million cash. You know, how about
Yeah.
this super yacht? We'll give it to you. You know,
Yeah, could be that too.
Saying you can't tell Lindsey Graham because he'll do bad things. Now, if that happened, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to give it a pass, nor is Ted or the rest of us. So we're going to get to the bottom of it for the benefit of the future. If this can happen to Trump, it can happen to anybody that the system doesn't like.
So true.
And the system one day can come after you is what's being said here. So
And it
people
does.
literally need to pay a price for this. Some people may need to go to jail. Some people may need to be fired. But if they violated my constitutional rights, if they trampled on the separation of powers involving me, I'm going to sue the hell out of these people.
Thanks,
I think
Lindsay.
what happens sometimes in this town is that we have multiple news cycles in one day, and big events can sort of get lost in all the things that are happening in the news of the day. But I think that in this instance, I can't think of a bigger political scandal in the last 100 years. So if you want to compare it to Watergate, this is 100 times worse than Watergate, and here's why. To sort of amplify the point that Senator Graham was making, 3 days after President Trump announced he was running for president, this system was weaponized against him. Jack Smith, who is notorious in prosecutor world as being a Stalin-like, show me the man, I'll show you the crime prosecutor. That's the guy you appoint when you want to get your political opponent. He's a dirtbag. A dirtbag. And I hope he comes before this committee. He's got a lot to answer to.
What?
He not only went after President Trump,
he's
he
a
went after
dirtbag.
city
Oh.
senators. At the time, I was the chairman of the Republican Attorneys General Association. Ashley Moody was also on the executive board. He came after us. And also hundreds of other people who happened to be Republicans in the United States of America. What else happened? The #2 prosecutor in Atlanta, a state prosecution of President Trump, which was ridiculous to begin with, somehow meets with the White House. The #3 person at the Department of Justice leaves the #3 job at the Department of Justice to go work for Alvin Bragg, a state prosecutor. Why is that? This was an effort to go after political opponents in America like we have never seen before. It can never happen again. And let me pull a couple people out outside of Jack Smith. Judge Boasberg. Judge Boasberg gave a speech about how he was going to thwart the Trump agenda before he got those cases. He was not the assignment judge. The D.C. courts have a daily assignment judge. He wasn't the assignment judge. He's on vacation. Somehow gets these cases at 1 a.m. Was he tipped off? Did somebody tell him these cases against President Trump and his agenda now were coming? I don't know. We should find that out. But Judge Boasberg, what he did to Senator Cruz and maybe other senators, absolutely, and I don't say this lightly, absolutely is worthy of impeachment proceedings. There has to be accountability. The American people have heard a lot about this, and you're going to hear more. We should have Watergate-style hearings on this for months. If we're ever going to root this out, we have to be serious about it, and consequences have to follow. Resignations, firings, criminal prosecutions. You simply can't, in this country, use the justice system to throw people in jail because they have a red jersey on or a blue jersey on. It's completely unacceptable, but they never forgave President Trump for coming down the escalator in the first place. That's what this whole thing is about. And they can't actually believe they're in the position now that the American people sent him back. And if he didn't win, not just did he run, if he wouldn't have won, we would never know any of this stuff.
So true.
It's just the mere fact that he won, delivered a historic political comeback. Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. I think because the Republicans won across the board, we're going to start finding all this shit out, and people are going to be held responsible or accountable.
Well, Trump's dismantling all this shit, which is why this is even happening in the first place. But I mean, look what Doge did, and getting rid of all those. I mean, I'm just gonna call them money laundering schemes. I mean,
Yeah.
This is all the deep state. This is all part of the deep state. It's not even the deep state. It's the deep. I mean, we're talking about corporations that are working for Democrats right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we kind of knew that this happened with Facebook and Twitter and the Twitter files and
Yep. And then
all that
Zuckerberg
stuff. So Elon
talking
Musk.
about how the Biden administration pressured him to censor all COVID information
all
that
the
they didn't
COVID
like.
stuff, the Hunter
Yeah.
Biden laptop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a regular. I mean, it's just all getting dismantled, and this is just a small piece of the puzzle here.
Yep.
Live today has ever seen. Is this an issue? So we have to actually do something about it, or it will happen again. I want to thank Chairman Grassley for his leadership, only because of the respect that he has with whistleblowers and his dogged determination and that of Senator John.
Even the name Grassley is like an old dusty man last name, is it not?
I know, right?
He's literally a character of a fucking old senator.
Johnson, are we even here today? And there's a lot more to come. This is just what we know right now. There's a lot more that's going to come.
Well, we appreciate you hanging with us and paying attention as we went through all of this today. If you don't know me, I'm Ashley Moody. I am the most junior member of the Judiciary Committee. But I showed up in January. I've been here 9 months, and I cannot tell you how shocked I have been at what transpired under the last administration. I now show up with a background as not only a lawyer, a federal prosecutor, a judge for over a decade, and the Attorney General of Florida to make sure that this country gets back on course. Because let me tell you about countries like Venezuela, whose own government went after their enemies, and that didn't just include those who were rightfully and duly elected by the people. They went after news organizations and journalists. They went after allies and people who supported freedom and democracy. And most of the people from that country who fled reside now in the state of Florida. Meeting with former Supreme Court justices from Venezuela, I heard time and time again, this story that we're telling you today. You heard Senator Cruz tell you that a judge said that he may destroy evidence. This is one of the preeminent lawyers in our country who argued in front of the Supreme Court, who has dedicated his life to service, who fights for the future of this country. And you had an administration go after him. If you are issuing subpoenas, you're saying they're related to a criminal investigation. And you had a judge say that he could destroy evidence. Think about that. They were trying to wipe out the leaders of a cause for a next generation. From elected leaders to news media, multiple outlets, journalists, even donors. If you're watching this right now, oh yes, there were even subpoenas issued on donors. Your information. If you believed in a cause and thought so highly of it, those things that we stood for, and you put your money where your mouth was, your information was sought.
Oh, shit.
So when you hear them say, imagine that they're doing this to us, they could do this to you, they did do it to you. And we only know this because
the gaslighting.
Yeah.
President was elected again. And I can tell you right now, you've heard them say we need to do our jobs. Impeachment needs to be on the table. Impeachment wasn't just a theory or an idea or some hypothetical one day. If there was ever an instance to root out judges that were not following the law or not being independent or were not living up to their oath, this is it. Impeachment cannot be a scarecrow. We must use that tool to make sure the public can trust in our judiciary again, can trust in our justice system again. Because if you ask the Supreme Court justices that fled to the United States from Venezuela, they would tell you when their justice system went, when the people no longer trusted that it was independent, they lost their nation. And I, for one, as the rookie of judiciary and the rookie of the United States Senate, are here to fight for this country. It will not fall under our watch. And you have our word.
Here, here.
Direct your questions to whichever senator you want to ask them to.
What the hell did he just say?
Go ahead.
He's like, I'm on cloud 9 right now.
To anyone. I'm
Where am
on
I?
Lindell TV, and Mike Lindell himself is actually mentioned in the judiciary document release involving Arctic frost. When can Lindell and really all other Americans?
I wonder who the person was like. They're like, we're gonna call this Operation Arctic Frost. You know, they're like, oh wow, what a great name.
Know what to
Yeah, I know, right?
And what means they were targeted and were surveilled and all of this. And will there be a full list release of every American that was involved?
Well, I think my colleagues could speak to this as well, but I think that we're going to just prove what the government has tried to do. We get more documents to do it, and we don't know everybody that's probably been involved yet, but we've got evidence that too many people, and this process should have never.
Yo, so that's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they're caught. Again, I'm glad that they're doing something about it. I hope something happens.
Like, they definitely weaponized the justice system to go after their political opponents.
Oh, absolutely.
People that were against causes. Like, they were probing an Attorney Point USA.
Yeah, which is wild. It's like, I wonder. It's just, I don't know. I wonder why Turning Point. That's weird to me. I mean, I guess I understand the senators thing. You know, find out, you know, who they're talking to, how they're going to vote. I mean, I guess they all kind of have an idea how they're going to vote. I don't know. It's just, it's very weird. Very weird.
Yeah. But all right, let's take a quick break so I can refill my water, and then we'll move on to the next subject.
Very good. We'll be right
All
back.
right.